What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to The Climb. I am your host, X-Ray, and joining me this week is our lovely newest member of the content team, Array. How's it going, sir?
Doing great. Um, we're out here. We had a great week of games.
Hey, we
We got
totally
a
did.
even better guest coming on here. We got Zach, a brand new face to the climb, brand new face to Summit.
Yeah,
Excited to get to hear his hot takes and see what he thinks about the season so far.
yeah, and as Ray said, our special guest this week is Zach of the Dognitas, tied for first in Pool A. So Zach, welcome. Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you, thank you.
So let's get to know this Zach a little bit. So, my first question is, how did you hear about Summit, and how did you join Summit?
I think so. I was looking for like a league to join or like
Mm-hmm.
a team to join or something, and I think somebody had posted in like one of the other like maybe low budget LCS or something, and I think I joined through a link there potentially. I can't 100% remember.
Oh, okay. So just found. Oh my gosh, sorry. Found Summit randomly and just a random Discord server.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, nice, sweet. That's pretty cool. So do you have any competitive experience? Because we over the past 2 weeks, I've seen like a lot of really good plays by you and like really good decision making. And what you're like Emerald or Platinum or something like that. And so you're
Uh,
making a lot of good plays.
I'm currently silver, but
Oh,
no, my peak is plat 3. Um, And no, I don't really, well, somewhat competitive experience. Like I used to be in a draft league that was similar to Summit,
okay.
but like where I'm like a tier 5 player here, I was like a tier 2 player there in gold.
Really?
So like it was a very low tier version of Summit.
I need to go to
Uh
that one.
and
I'll be tier 1.
and
Hey, you'll own the league.
I will
Like
own the
shit.
league.
so it was, I'm telling you, it was like the worst game quality for like competitive league.
Oh,
Uh
I have to
but
ask, were there irons?
yeah. Like
Oh my
I think the
gosh.
the like worst player on every team was Iron.
Oh,
Um,
Dude, that's awesome.
but
I'm going to that one. I'm going to see some ditching somebody. See you later, guys. Going to that one.
any map making like plays or anything, I'm telling you, it's all Nico. Nico is like the goat coach.
Oh, really?
Like our first scrim against Array, bro. Array was like Alistar. He was walking mid and like diving my mid lane. My mid laner was
Yeah.
crying, bro.
Hey, y'all won the actual series. That's all that matters.
There was a big turnaround. It was a very poor week of practice.
Hey, that's okay. Scrims don't matter. It's a matter of what happens in official games. And
Yeah, just
speaking,
the NRG strat.
yeah, energy scrap. And speaking of official games, week 2 has officially ended. And there were a couple bangers this week. A lot of good games. I'm excited to talk about them. So I say let's not wait and let's get into week 2 games. Starting off with a Rays game, Ganking Private Ryan versus Asteria Kittens. And first off, let's talk about what happened to Asteria. Bro had to pause literally as soon as they got onto the riff. He went and threw up, felt like crap, and then came back and won the series for his team. So all I have to say is good job. That's all. That's all I got.
Shout out Asteria.
Yeah.
He's like there's a couple of players that I went into the draft saying I would offer myself for, and he was definitely one of them, man. That's because I knew he could carry games like how he did this week, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Um, so yeah, I mean, game 1, pretty PvP having a really good lead on the Tristana. But honestly, he didn't really do a whole lot after he got like 5 kills. He kind of was just roaming around, jumping in, and then doing like some damage and then walking away and not committing to any fights. Sparks, I mean, beating Ryan in the mid lane, playing LeBlanc, a champion that we're normally not used to him playing.
I don't think he played LeBlanc, to be honest.
He did.
I think
He played LeBlanc.
Wasn't it Corky?
it was Corky.
No,
I
game
thought
two.
it was Corky.
Game 2 he played. Oh yeah, sorry. I'm thinking of.
He did
I'm
not
thinking of.
play
I'm thinking of.
LeBlanc.
I'm thinking of setup. I'm thinking of setup.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Yes, you're right. He did play Corky. That's my bad.
I think he played Corky both games.
So yeah, I mean, Sparks having a really good game, and Ryan, I think, is just having a very off time. You know, getting back into the mid lane. So I'm interested to see like how he will play in the next coming weeks. And the other thing I want to talk about is Array and Asteria finding good synergy in that bot lane this series, showing us like week 1 was just a fluke. You know, they were still new to each other. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, I forgot. So we have seen Ash flank, but what about a Tristana flank?
Yeah,
That was
he was playing like he was Malphite for sure, but I respect it because he had the keys. I mean, the sucky part about the series was Neversaw wasn't there, and they had a sub in Sulpan, and Sulpan did a fine job, you know.
Yeah, he did a great
But
job.
but Sulpan's not really a carry player. He's more of a supporting cast, like secondary carry player. So when you have your main carry player taken away, and you have to allocate resources to your emerald player, your low diamond 80 carry, it kind of feels worse than allocating it to somebody who's been GM, you know, somebody that's shown that they can carry on multiple roles. I think the thing that really sucks about it for them is like it's gonna suck because there are O2 in series now, and they might take that as a jumping off point, you know. Maybe try to switch stuff up, and I don't know if they necessarily need to do that quite yet. I mean, the first game is not really indicative of what a team is capable of, and then the second thing was that they didn't really have their full team there, so the whole dynamic changed.
Yeah, and you know, if Neversaw's there, the game's probably a little bit different, but you know, maybe we'll see these guys face off again in playoffs possibly. So we'll have to see. And then just to finish up, game 2, all I have is one word: Zyra. AP junglers, are just so OP right now.
Good thing they got nerfed pretty hard.
Yeah, the patch just came out today, so thank gosh that got nerfed. But honestly, it was a pretty bland match in my opinion. There was just too big of a CS and objective difference for Asteria's Kins, and they just kind of took over the game and won in like 25 minutes or something like that. It was a pretty quick game.
What stuck up to you, Zach? What do you think stuck out to you in this series?
I'll be honest. I think I had you guys winning this series before it started, like in my own predictions. I think the big difference is like week 1, like you guys still dominated me and Nico bot lane. It was just Jason popped off. Like both games, like got super early fed, and so like as long as your team is able to like neutralize the top side of the map early, like your team's always going to be really good late. So I figured that would happen this week with the team you were playing, because they also sort of want to play the same strategy. Not necessarily this week because of what happened with them subbing, but like generally, if Neversaw was there, they would have wanted to play the same strategy.
Yeah.
You think the games go any different if Neversaw's there, or you still feel like the Kittens take it there?
I would have still picked you guys, but I think it would be closer.
For sure.
I think honestly it would change a lot of. I think it would just take a totally different style, because Sulpan and PPP do not have like the same champion pools. They may have similar champions, but I would not say they have the same champ pool. So we definitely see like different picks coming out from them. So like we saw Sulpan play Vi, and what was the first game? It was I think it was Vi and Zach, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so I think PPP would have probably gone with like maybe like a J4 and Xin Zhao maybe, you know. So
Maybe like an Udyr or two.
yeah, maybe New Deer. So like there's a lot of possibilities if Neversaw is there, but we'll never know until these two teams face off again. Or
Hey,
Also,
hit my line. We could scrim.
I think PPP needs some props for how he played too. Like being ADC against Array and Asteria, like he still looked really good.
Yeah, I mean, especially he hasn't played AD carry in a while, and I was surprised. I mean, the thing like the only thing real criticism I have was like it wasn't like super calculated aggression. You know, it was just pure aggression. And sometimes like if you're just a better player and you can out hands the other player, you can just get away with that. But a lot of the mistakes he made was because he thought he could just out hands the players, and you know, it's not gonna work against like me and Asteria every time, you know. Maybe it works the first like 2-3 times, but you're not gonna do it every single time.
Yeah.
Like, I will say though, last thing on the topic of this game, I think Ryan, he's been struggling a bit, and it really sucks to see because he's had such high highs in previous seasons, and I understand he's getting back into the groove of it. I'm just hoping he can show up. Honestly, I think maybe if he, it just seems like his early game is just taking a hit since he switched over. So I would really like to see him work on that and get back out there. I'm rooting for him.
Yeah, for sure. I've talked to Ryan plenty of times. Really good guy. I just think like you said, I think it's just a coming back to the role and just learning it over again. Like just kind of getting used to like.
The mid lane's so different now. Like mid lane back then was a lot of roaming and you pushing the wave and you finding timings for priority, and the priority is a lot different. Like what it means to have prio then and like in season 10 and what it means to have prio now is completely different.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, let's move on to our game number 2, Code Cryptid versus Dognitas. And I don't have a whole lot on this series just because it was really one-sided. First off, got to talk about A's and Jason. This man, in my opinion, number 1 jungler right now.
Just hand him the MVP trophy.
Yeah, hand this.
He's playing out of his mind right now.
Yeah.
This guy has like, I think he's leading KDA, average KDA.
Is he? Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me because I'm pretty sure in like game 1 he didn't die, and I think the second game he did die, like twice at least, but I can't remember all of it. But yeah, he is. Honestly, I would almost like to say he is probably the best jungler Summit / La Liga has ever seen. Like he is playing just so above the bar right now, and it's just he's making the rest of his team not have to work as hard. So
oh no, our job is so easy. You click tab I'm telling you, at like 10 minutes you click tab and this guy's got like 5 kills already. It's insane.
Yeah.
Big fan of Jason. But I don't know, man. I heard Peak Soulpan was a menace. I heard Morn was really great, a great player.
That's who Jason mentions a lot. Jason mentions Morn a lot.
Yeah, no knock to Jason. I think he's playing a wonderful season right now. And he was playing a great season last season too. I would say it's weird because usually in most leagues the jungle pool is usually the stack pool. But Jason gets to dog walk these junglers because they're just not on his level. Like I would love to see him. I think the closest one is to Kill Switch, and I mean he gapped the living shit out of him last split. You know what I mean? So I mean I would like to see like that run back. I would like to see if any improvements or like it was like a meta thing or anything. Because Kill Switch is similar in rank to him, but like I mean there's nothing comparing him right now to the other junglers.
Well, I think
what team is Kill Switch on?
He is on Ship Without a Captain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's the thing though with Kill Switch, you have to also look at the difference in teams this season. I would say. So I mean, last season he has mid 2 easy. You know, this guy just makes jungle seems so much easier.
Yeah.
And in this season, he does have Karzbuto, which is like the rank 3 top laner, I would say, and a very good not rookie, I guess now is a veteran sort of thing, World Soup, which, you know, I would say he's a good budget mid laner, but he's not mid too easy sort of.
He's probably like top 35, like tier 5 players in the league.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I've always been impressed by World Soup and how he is very adaptable. Like, you don't see that for most people his skill level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we'll talk more about Ship Without a Captain here in a bit. But back to CRYPTID versus Dognitas. Honestly, like CRYPTID, when I was watching this game, I actually got pretty frustrated at CRYPTID. I was like, why are you guys making these plays? Like, there were just a lot of bad plays being made, I think, by them, like just taking really bad fights. And I'm gonna get heated if I keep saying anything. But honestly, I felt like game 2, like CC had more fighting spirit in them this one. Guanabon and Peach Princess actually swapped roles, so Guanabon went into that support role and Peach Princess went into the jungle.
They looked pretty good.
They actually looked pretty decent. However, I want to talk about one individual, the mid laner for Dognitas. How do you say it?
Hamea.
Hamea.
Okay, I butchered it the first time I said it. Hamea. This guy is the steal of the draft. This guy, I think, is tier 4, and he's
insane.
diamond, and he's diamond now.
Now, you know what's crazy? Our tier 4 player would be tier 3 if we redrafted right now, and our tier 3 player just hit diamond 1, so he would be a tier 2 player.
Really? Wait, he hit diamond 1?
Loco just hit diamond 1. Yeah.
Nice.
What?
So Nico,
how is that balanced?
Smurfed the draft.
How is this balanced? Timeout. How is
crazy.
This balanced?
Yeah, it's balanced by the mental game.
Yo, Dognitas is a beast.
Yeah. I kind of knew about Hamea from the customs actually, and he was playing against mid 2 easy, and he was holding his own really well, and he got a couple solo kills on him. So I knew once Hamea got picked up that team is gonna be strong, because I mean Hamea's just been playing great, but I already knew that man had a very capable mid lane, especially for a tier 4 player that's playing like tier 2, standing up to mid 2 easy, the best mid probably Summit's ever seen. Yeah. That's pretty indicative of what a player's capable of. Would you like to tell us more about how Hamea impacted this game, Zach?
Let's just hear your whole thoughts.
We don't see your guys' comps.
Yeah, let's hear your thoughts.
So it's actually kind of crazy with him. He's like the least spoken player on the team. Like, if the game's going well, he really doesn't talk. Like, honestly, he doesn't say very much. Now, the games when, like, a Ray is on Asteria, roams mid type thing, like, all of a sudden, you'll hear him say, like, I need some help. Like there was one game where he's literally getting 1v3'd mid lane for like 6 minutes in a row, and he's just asking for Jason to come mid, and Jason's just, no, I'm gonna do the gromp, or I'm gonna do my grubs. Like, it's insane that he doesn't tilt. Like, this guy doesn't tilt off the face of the planet, no matter what you do.
Bro, this guy is a smurf. I'm looking at his
He's insane. He is insane.
Bro literally reached Emerald 1 last split and then just did not play anymore, apparently. He's just like, nah, dog. Emerald 1.
I'm head out.
I'm head out.
That's what he said.
But I'm looking at some of this, like, these win rates, though. Silas, 20 games, 70% win rate. That's crazy. Some of these other win rates, though, not super great. What's this 41% win rate on Yoni? Huh? Hamea? Huh?
Yeah, maybe don't let that man have that champion, by the way, guys. I think it's a great draft plan to go in and just say, let's not deal with this.
But yeah, Hamea is doing fantastic, and I'm really excited to see how him and the rest of Dognitas kind of face up for the rest
We
of the
love to
season.
see a rookie thriving.
Yeah, it's always nice to see. But let's move on to our next game: Cyberbullies versus BTS. There is no name still. I'm still waiting for a name.
ETS, you mean, right?
Yeah.
Or did you say B? Oh, well.
PT. You know, if I said it wrong, it doesn't matter because it's not even a real name. So, but
They should have stuck with Pug Team 6. Pug Team 6 was actually lit.
Puck Team 6. But yeah. I mean, game 1, it was just mid too easy and Briz show. And game 2, I mean, it was a pretty close early game, and I think what really changed the difference in game 2 was there was the second Grubs fight, the second spawn of Grubs. Cyberbullies got the Grubs, and it was actually a 4v5, or no, sorry, it was a 4v4, but I believe Mid Too Easy and Briz had like 2 kills to the name each, and they were just able to carry the fights. Soap made a really good rotation up and was able to help out, and then OT Gator was just kind of there. OT Gator, honestly, I haven't really talked about OT Gator this season just because Briz and Mid Too Easy have been just kind of shining over him.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to play jungle in his position. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I feel like it's so easy. Not to take away from him at all.
Oh, yeah.
He's been playing well. I mean, it's just like, is he in a situation like other people have to be in? You know, where their solo lanes are getting pushed in. I mean, I haven't seen Mid Too Easy really under tower this entire like split. You know what I mean? So I mean, OT Gator's been doing really well. I think he's been great, like enabling his team. I think that's just the kind of player he is. He thrives when there's like good players around him. But like I think like what we saw last season when he had a struggling team at the start, you know, he didn't really look super great.
Yeah, for sure. And before we get Zach's thoughts, I actually DM'd Briz a couple questions and asked him a couple of questions, kind of like a mini interview sort of thing. These are the questions I asked. First question was, how does it feel to be the top rank top laner this season? He did face off Sprinkler, you know, a GM, by the way, and
Yeah.
Briz is like a diamond 3 or something like that.
He hit Masters.
Oh, he hit
a
Masters?
little while ago, but he did it playing mid lane. So I mean, I guess that just goes to show mid lane is better.
Yeah.
If you're mid laner, mid lane 34 LP and Masters is just the same thing as GM 700 LP in top lane.
Yeah, so his answer to that was, it feels good. I think people have been sleeping on me because my OP.GG looks like a train wreck, but if you dig a little deeper, before I played mid, I was a top laner for a long time. I played in AML before, and I have had a lot of amateur coaching, so I consider myself a solid fundamentals player in comp environment, and it felt good to show that. Personally, I think Sprinkler has a better laning than me, but he looked uncomfortable on his champs, and his supporting cast is not really as good as mine, so it's easy for me to shine. If his jungler was able to find better timers, the game could have been flipped easily. Respect to Sprinkler. So, you know,
I think he nailed it.
He nailed it. Like
He's very aware of like how the game is played, and I was about to say the exact same thing with the laning phase. I was like, it wasn't even like Sprinkler was getting dog walked. It just felt like he was just like when he played like Vayne the first series, like he was queuing a little too far because he doesn't know, he's not comfortable on Vayne, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, but if you put him on his like best champions, I'm sure that he probably is still the best top laner. But like when Briz gets to hold his advantage and keep going, he's clearly the best top laner right now.
Yeah, I think honestly his just to kind of go on the defending Sprinkler, game 1 he played Jace versus Briz's Aatrox, and I think it was like level 5 or 6 or something like that. it would have been 6. He almost solo killed Briz. Briz barely lived. He had to like ult, auto attack to get a heal, and then flash away. And he literally lived with probably like 5 HP or something like that. So
Yeah, I think they said something about that.
my other 2 questions were: your team is currently undefeated. How do you guys plan on to continue this trend? And he says it's nice because at this point we have definitely the best top side. Our bot is playing above my expectations, and when I always have a winning mid to jungle, the games always feel like they're out or they're in our control. I don't know how to read, guys. I don't think it's any secret how our team is going to win games. Smothering top mid ensures we will always be strong. And then my last one was any thoughts to words of your next opponent, which is Asteria's Kittens. And this is what they have to say, Ray. Think carefully about your bench. You might be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's a hard puzzle to solve, that team.
For sure.
I don't know how much I'm trying to leak. You know, we got our own strats, but
Ooh.
like banning, I don't know how much banning is really gonna matter into this series because they play so much different things.
Yeah.
It's mostly just like I think what's gonna end up being is like, oh, what's like a blindable champion? Let's get rid of that. Let's not deal with that because one of the solo lanes has to blind. You know,
Right,
but
for sure.
what do you think? I think like it's funny because like we know a bunch of these players and we have seen them for a long time. So I'm curious to see like from someone like Zach's perspective, like where does it like when you only have like 2 weeks of games where you know everyone,
Yeah.
like how does like seeing how like these top lane matchups go and how they should go on paper, how do they like strike you?
I was actually gonna say, I'm pretty sure Briz got counterpicked both games. I know he got counterpicked the second. I can't remember if he got counterpicked on the Aatrox into Jace. But either way, Jace is probably a more favorable matchup into Aatrox than the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Briz played it well both games. Like there were some dodgy moments, but like ultimately he played it fine. Like he never got down on CS. Like I don't remember him getting solo killed.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't know. I think he's probably. I thought it was crazy when people weren't putting him like top 3 after the first week. Like
Yeah.
I had him number 2 after the first week, but like people were. I think a lot of people just rank theirs based on like actual rank, like solo queue rank.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I would say it's a lot of it's also nuance because a lot of these players have known what like a lot of other players are capable of for a very long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Where like they've seen him in Summit before.
What do you think of their bot lane? Like, because you know that's their weak point. That's supposed to be their weak point on their team. But
I think they deserve a lot of props. Honestly, they don't really get caught out ever. They don't really put themselves in a position to be turret dove very often either. And Soap does a great job roaming around the map and just like playing with his jungler, which is what you would want to do in a team like that where your top side is your 3 strongest players.
Yeah, speaking of Soap, I heard you and him have some disagreements, maybe.
I don't know if I'd say disagreements. He like it's more like I don't know. We were the last 2 people picked in the draft, so like instead of trying to aim your shots at like higher ranked players who just can bully you with their LP, like you might as well go at each other.
You mean stay in your own lane?
So, just speaking of the draft, I honestly think you 2 are probably the best 2 tier 5 picks right now, like just playing wise. And you guys were drafted the last 2, and I think that's
nah. Give World Soup his props. Listen.
Okay, yeah.
World Soup
listen,
has
top 3. How about that? Top 3.
Better
I think
if
you're putting it into like Elo perspective, for sure. I mean, Zach's he's a gold player, and you know, not that gold players are bad, but you know, he's playing at a much higher level than a gold player. And is some of that maybe from coaching from Nico and Nico telling him how to play? Sure. But that doesn't mean that it's like, oh, they're just being handhold. They still have their hands on the keyboard. They have to execute every single these plays, and I think it's indicative to what kind of player Zach is, what kind of player Soap is when they have these limitations, which is their rank, but they're still playing above the par.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, excuse me.
I got way better in lane when I stopped, like you mentioned it earlier actually, Ray, with PPP, like how he tried to like outhand you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like there'd be multiple times in lane where I would just literally lose our lane at level 2 by just flashing for no reason to try to go for an engage. Like the
That's
second I
calculated
stopped
aggression.
the second I stopped like all inning or doing something like crazy and just playing the lane out, like our team got way better.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah, and that's what I like about Summit is like you just kind of grow as you play. Like even though you may not like recognize it at first, you kind of like slowly you kind of realize, oh shit, I'm getting a lot better at this game. Because I think when I started Summit / La Liga, I was like Silver 4, and now I'm Emerald 4. So a lot of
Yeah,
people
who
grow
needs skill
here.
capped?
Yeah, right.
Who needs these paywall guides? We have Summit Esports.
Yeah, Summon Esports. We get it for free by asking high elo players, "Hey, what can I do
Yeah,
better?
you put your fingers together like, can I please get a coaching?
Can I please get a coaching?" Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but
Next game though.
let's go to the next game, the Gauntlet versus Feeders Anonymous, and I'm gonna be honest, this one was kind of a snooze for me, but I did take some notes. Game 1, not much. It was not much of a snoozer, I would say. Or what is my words here? Not much to say, kind of a snoozer. Okay, I was
There
reading
you
that
go.
completely
That was
wrong. But Feeders Anonymous didn't really push their lead top hard enough. I remember Olaf so Olaf is playing into an Ornn. Like that is one of Olaf's easiest matchups, but David kept shoving in the wave and not letting the wave push into him, and then just running KitKat down. And so I just don't think he really took advantage of the matchup as much. He did get like I think 1 or 2 solo kills, but he didn't really push his lead, I think, as well as he could have, as a tier 1 pick, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think Feeders Anonymous overall weren't playing as a team. It was really just 5 random players who just met and are kind of just doing their own thing, like pretty much just like solo queue. And I didn't really see a whole lot of team plays coming out from them. I saw a lot of individual plays, but that was about it. Otherwise, I think the Gauntlet had a really good series, game 1 and 2. I mean, Sai and Heiko had a phenomenal series, and I'm trying to remember who the rest is on that team because I'm blanking right now.
Set up My Hot Daddy and KitKat.
Yeah, so yeah, this is the LeBlanc game that I was talking about. LeBlanc
There you go.
having set up playing a champion that I was not expecting of him, the LeBlanc. So props to him for pulling that out. My Hot Daddy though on his signature pick, the Nocturne. Yeah, and I will give props to KitKat. That is probably one of Ornn's hardest matchups, and he only died 3 times in the whole game, and at one point he was just he just was unkillable. It took like 3 people just to kill him, and he was literally solo in their base trying to run away. But I don't have much in game 2. It was pretty much just a bot diff. Sai and Heiko are just goated. Right.
Yeah, that bot lane is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're alright. Yeah, they're alright.
Come on, hype them up. I know you want to.
Wait, Ray, do you
Dude.
think you're gonna smash them when you play them?
Oh, listen, but of course, listen. We don't forget what I did to Heiko last season, consistently.
You guys don't play. You guys don't play them.
No, it would be in playoffs. It would be. In
Oh
playoffs.
yeah, it'd be in playoffs.
We'll see them then. Listen, I have a lot of respect for both of them as a player. I love the way Heiko plays. I would, you know how I mentioned there was a couple of AD players I would off roll for. Heiko's definitely one of them. Like he definitely, I love how he plays the game, and like it's just fun. But I think we have a good matchup into them. That's all I'm gonna say. I think Sai has also just been playing wonderful no matter what, and I've never seen a Seraphine Soraka player have so much impact on a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, it's not really disrespect. It's competition. That's why I like.
No respect.
That's why I have to see myself in them. You know, in a way.
Yeah, can we just start banning the Seraphine? Like, can the league as a whole start agreeing to ban the Seraphine? Like,
I'm okay with that.
It's actually in the rules. Can't pick Seraphine or else
like this guy on Seraphine is a menace.
You know, it made me think, like, I was thinking after that series, I was like, maybe this is a weird season, but, like, maybe support players can play to carry in a way. You know what I mean? Because, like, if we look at how a lot of the teams won this weekend, it was through support picks that were conventionally, like, can kind of carry. You know what I mean? I played Nico, and then he played a lot of Seraphine, and if you look at the builds on Seraphine, he's doing a lot of damage on that Seraphine. You know what I mean? So having like a surprising secondary threat in the support player, I feel like has not been utilized that very often. I've only seen it really utilized by like Rob's team last time, you know, and that's because Big Dummy, he could actually play anything bot lane. He's playing Rumble, he's playing Riven. You know what I mean?
And
wait until I get my team to let me play my Xerath. Just give it to me one time, please.
So
come on, Nico.
For that.
It's funny you mentioned Big Dummy, and I actually asked Rob Rob was talking about like Big Dummy and his prime back on Boise State Esports, and I asked him, so what would be the difference between him playing in like him currently, like how Summit Season 3 went, how would his prime be different? And he said it wouldn't be even close. He literally could 1v5, he said, and I was like, whoa, that's scary.
I mean, you need that kind of confidence when you're going into, especially if like, I mean, at the end of the day, the way I like to look at the game is you can only trust you. Like, you know what I mean? You know what you are capable of, and you know your limits. You don't know everyone else's limits unless you've been playing with them for a very long time.
Yep, for sure. Zach, you got any thoughts on the series before we move on?
Really just Heiko and Sai are insane.
Yep.
That team's probably going to win Pool B. I'll be honest. I thought it was going to be PTS just because of how strong I thought the top side was going to be. But then we scrimmed them, and it didn't look very good for them. And then Cyberbullies played them, and it didn't look very good for them. So I think it's probably going to be the Gauntlet who wins Pool B.
Yeah, the Gauntlet looks strong for that very a very criticized pool, I will say. A lot of people are believing that.
No, don't give them props.
Weaker.
Don't give them props.
Yeah.
Hooray.
So the title of this episode. Yes, there are titles for the episodes. I just don't share them often. So the title of this episode, I decided to name it Pool A equals Danger Pool, because it literally is it's really 3 teams in my opinion.
I think we have the top 3 teams in this pool. I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's Cyberbullies, Dognitas, and then Asteria's in third. I'm not sure how Ganking Private Ryan is gonna do. I'm guessing they're gonna be 4th though, for sure. But I mean,
if you put them in that pool, you know what I mean? Like they could probably get out of that pool 2nd or 1st. You know what I mean? I'm sorry to say it.
This is actually what I want to do. I would actually like to move the Gauntlet and Code Cryptid. I'd like to switch those two and see.
No, what?
No, like think about it.
Our pool would be insane.
Yeah,
what?
the pool would be so crazy, and like everyone would only watch Pool A games, and then they'd be like, Pool B is like, what's Pool B? There's 5 more teams. What? No.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that team might not win a game, by the way.
Yeah.
And pool B or pool A?
No flame to him because I actually like Ayakbin and I think Guanabon's really cool, but that team might not win a game.
In pool B or pool A?
I
No,
think they might not win a series. I
Oh.
think they will win a game. I think someone will be dumb enough to not ban Ivern, and then they will lose. And then they're like, oh, we should have banned Ivern.
So Guanabon's my boy. I've known that guy since high school. I feel so like, well, we're not talking about Code Cryptid anymore, but just to kind of go on them, I think this team should be doing a whole lot better, but the plays they're going for is just like don't seem like the correct ones to me at least, and are just not executing like plays correctly or anything like that. So I don't know if Happier Cat's coaching them or what.
Oh, they would get instantly better if they just swapped Angry Enchilada to support and put Peach Tea Princess top lane.
You think so?
I agree.
Yeah, we scrimmed them and we literally lost to them.
Leaks.
We lost to them in a scrim. I'm leaking. Yes.
Yo,
we won one game. We won one game and lost two. This was before we played them though.
Okay.
And I'll be honest, like just ban Lux if she's playing support, and you'll probably win the bot lane. But that's just because I suck against playing against Caitlyn Lux.
I hate to, and not to put anyone down, but yeah, I do think Peach Tea Princess plays a hell of a solo lane. And I do think if you put her bot lane, it could be better. It could be worse though.
She played a Kali top in one of the 3 games in that scrim, and she was 8-0 at one point.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think it's just more of a known quantity.
Yeah.
But I heard that rumors or drama or something. I heard Angry Enchilada is also a very talkative person to that team, so maybe they want to play top lane, and maybe Peach Tea Princess also wants to play a bunch of different roles. You know, maybe it's more of a for fun thing, and wins will come along the way, you know. But it definitely does seem like that team is struggling to get its footing.
Well, I think the other thing we got to realize is technically winning, everyone makes playoffs. So really, you're just playing for seeding. So you either you go 4-5 and play an extra game, or you get top 3 and not have to play an extra game. So, I guess maybe they got a plan. It's like once playoffs hit, all right, it's go time.
Wait, I thought only the 1 seed in each group didn't have to play an extra game.
Wait, okay. Either way.
Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah, you're right.
It's a weird thing that every team makes it, I think, but we could talk about that like on some other episode.
Yeah, that'll be in a later episode. But let's head on to our last game.
Yeah,
Conflict of Interest versus Ship Without a Captain. The very unfortunate Game 3 series that only played 2 games.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. That was one of the best series this week, I think, too.
Oh yeah,
it was very back and forth.
Yeah, I actually really liked the series. I was really hoping a Game 3 was going to happen. But when I was watching it live and they said, COI actually has to FF due to some unforeseen circumstances, and I was like, well, darn.
I wish we could make an exception for those. Like, hey, you guys can just come back, like, maybe next week y'all can also play that +1 game. You know what I mean? That's that one game, like, or something. You know what I mean? Well, it just sucks because those teams were. It was like really a firefight. You know, like they were both so back and forth. They were both having their moments. I'm pretty sure each game, like somebody else had like their moment to shine, and they like traded it, like whose turn it was. Like it was definitely something we wanted more out of.
Yeah, and Game 1, it was really like COI's game. Like they had every objective besides 3 grubs, and like SWC didn't really have a whole lot of a win con. I mean, they did have a 4-1 Hecarim, but Hecarim's not going to be able to just 1v9 at that stage of the game, and how the game state is. But yeah, COI had a very clean game in my opinion. A couple micro plays mistakes, but otherwise a very clean game for them. And then game 2, it was like the complete opposite. It was ship without a captain in the driver's seat, getting almost every objective. And after like mid to late game, it was like a 4 to 7k gold lead for SWC pretty much all the way through until the Nexus explodes. And another thing about game 2, Karzbuta, his Renekton was very clean and very commanding in game 2 for sure. And then of course game 3,
Yeah,
I had a FF, very very sad.
I'm not trying to be too much of a critic, but I did expect a little more out of Krasputo. At least the first week. I think they had a really poor series the first week. But I did like the Renekton, like you said, and it definitely found its footing. And it looked like Pyrosis was struggling a lot into playing the Camille that one game. So I definitely see that they are finding their finding their footing, and they're starting to like line up their keys to victory.
Mhm.
What do you think? How do you think? What was like the real, like factors going into those games for you, Zach?
So I don't remember much of game 2. I was actually in a call with Nico and Loco at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But game 1, I remember watching it, and there was like just so many question marks. Like conflict of interest picked like this 5 champ all poke comp with no. There was like
That's
not even a
right.
bruiser really, like because they had
Yeah.
Jace, but like is Jace really gonna be a bruiser? Like probably not. And
No.
then you had this other side of the comp where it's like it was completely countered by 5 poke, but it was like, man, you should have just picked engage somewhere, like anywhere in the draft. Engage would have been amazing,
Hmm.
and all they had was a Hecarim to just like face dive, and that was it. Um, and then they give up Mountain Soul, and a poke comp that had no tank is now all of a sudden 5 tanks with a Mountain Soul. So like it's pretty unplayable. And I think Borla actually trolled his build a bit in this game. He went
Mm-hmm.
IE first item, and then I think instead of going Collector, which is like the typical Caitlyn, I'm going to click R and do half your health build, which would have been great against 5 poke champs. It would have been so good. He goes Mortal Reminder full item and then into Rapid Fire Cannon. So, like, I don't know really what was going on there.
Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
I think the Caitlyn bid that would have been perfect this game is lethality. Actually, I think lethality would have went nuts because you basically because your R's just you're such a low cooldown on the lethality build. You basically just like build collector and then just build full lethality and then you shoot, and one of them is least chunked and or like dead pretty much, in a fight. So I think lethality would have been crazy for Caitlyn in game 2, especially when you're going into that type of comp of 4 or 5 poke champions. So, but
Yeah.
I think COI pulled the poke comp off very well. Like
Yeah.
they
I
to a
think a
T.
lot of summit teams are afraid to do the tried and true poke comp. It's either the split push comp or the team fight front to back comp. And, so I really liked that they actually ended up full committing with the Jace at the end. Picking up the like no matter what, one of our poke characters will be ahead and they will be poking you before like these fights.
Yep, for
So
sure.
I think that's a good way to win the game. It's just sometimes a little harder to win doing it.
Yep, for sure. And with that, that wraps up game or week 2 games. And let's head over to predictions. Prediction time. So, as it's standing, Array sitting at that first place, 8-2. Everyone else tied at 7-3, and I'm here too, in the last.
Yes.
Listen, me, Venom, and Array, big brained right here.
So,
Mhm.
but
We gotta like this.
let's look at the games. First game, Ganking Private Ryan versus Code Cryptid, and it's pretty unanimous. Ganking Private Ryan, Code Cryptid. To my understanding, I
Right.
don't think anyone's gonna really be voting for Code Cryptid. We need to see some sort of life from them, and maybe they'll pull out the angry enchilada, go to support, and PhD Princess go into the top lane. Maybe we'll see it this week. We did see Guanabon and PhD Princess swap roles, so we'll see. But
yeah, I hate to say it, but this is kind of like I don't know what this game tells us still. Like, it will either tell us that one of these teams is not getting their footing or they are, So it's just I just don't know where to go with, especially Guanabon's team. I just don't know where to go with it. So, I mean, I would love to see them like get a really nice bounce back or like stick to something,
I mean, one of these teams are getting points this week. Who knows?
Yeah,
maybe
I'm gonna have to keep it with the hot take here.
Oh,
I think if Ganking Private Ryan doesn't 2-0, there are some serious problems on that team.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
I think you got to 2-0 this team. I'll be honest.
Is this their rivals?
What do you mean?
No,
No,
this is their division,
same
right?
same group.
Yeah.
Same group.
Oh,
We're the cross group, I think. It's Dognitas Feeders Anonymous.
Yep.
okay.
Yep. So pretty clear could say Ganking Private Ryan.
Hey, you need to fix this. I did not vote for the Cyberbullies to win this.
Oh.
Why would I?
Hang on.
That's what I was saying.
Hang on.
I was like, wait, he didn't pick his own team?
Hang on.
Crazy.
No,
Hang
I
on.
absolutely picked my own team.
Hang on. All right. Hey guys, it's totally not. Hang on.
Oh my God! Look, the Kittens have a
Whoa,
bingo slot on
crazy!
the board.
Yo,
Y'all actually gave up like bingo like that. You know what I mean? Like y'all thought it was a free space.
Yo, okay, my bad. I read it before
You think
we started the show too.
You read the script?
I literally read it too. Like he picked Asteria's Kins, and then I looked it. I was like, "Yep, it's good." And no,
He just thought he knew the outcome.
I already know the outcome. It's gonna be Cyberbullies, 2-0.
I'm really happy you think that. Respect to all of them as players. Briss is really chill. Been too easy. I've come through our RuneScape endeavors. I've grown to like him a lot. But not just the RuneScape, but I think it's gonna be a fun matchup. I think this is like a real great test for us. You know what I mean? If like we can make it close or take this series, like we need to get some respect on our names.
We
We're
could be
not
looking
the
at
number.
a three-way tie for the #1 seed in the
Yeah, who knows?
Play if you guys win this.
Yeah. Who
Uh,
knows?
I definitely think this is gonna be like one of the matches to highlight. I know it's because I know partially it's biased, but I do think the other teams it's just a worthy competitor,
Yep.
So like definitely looking forward to the games. I think it will be one hell of a series.
For sure. Moving on, we have the Gauntlet versus or it should be, sorry, a ship without a captain. All right, wow, we're scuffed this week, guys. Hang on, let me All right, ship without a captain versus the Gauntlet. The Gauntlet all the way through. Besides Brissy going with ship without a captain again, they did get him a point last week, so maybe he's
honestly, the more I think about this matchup, the more I want to switch my pick again. I doubted him last week.
It's locked in.
I know. But I doubted a ship without a captain last week, and then at the end I was like, I think they're gonna win actually, and they end up winning, but it was like doing FF, but you know what I mean. But I definitely think this is like a stress test for Sai and Heiko. If they've been playing a lot weaker bot lanes, I must admit, and I've heard really great things about Borla, and he's been a consistently like fun player to watch and keep your eye on.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I think Fleece has always been a solid player. It's like she's one of the benchmarks when it comes to this league, and she's been playing like way above, I think, a lot of people's expectations. I would say she's like second or third best support right now. So I think that's actually like a sleeper contender for best bot lane is Fleece and Borla. So if Heiko and them and Sai can just dog walk them, cool. They're that good.
Okay.
Then.
I like that hot take. But we're going to move on to game number 4, COI versus BTS. And you guys are all delusional. It's actually going to be BTS this week.
Yeah, the beat. I don't know who BTS is. I think they're a Korean
I think that's a
boy
Korean
band.
pop. Yeah, 100%.
But I think PTS might
Or
actually have some.
guys, I might be stupid. It's also been a long week.
Uh-huh.
PTS. I've been in the mountains, finding bears.
It's true.
It's true. So I went with this decision, and I kind of am just basing it off of bot lane. I think Thim and Sexy Shawarma are going to take this win, and I'm hoping Sprinkler comes back and just destroys Pai Pai and just wins the game. Destroys Pai Pai.
Well, the thing I think is interesting about this series is I feel like there should be something coined like the Pai Pai litmus test, and he is like I mentioned earlier before with how Proton Plat player played into us. They will just try to hands you. You know what I mean? If you can break the litmus test, which is Pai Pai, if you can outplay him, and I think you'll be a lot better off than if you can't. You know what I mean? So having a high elo player like Sprinkler will present some problems for Pai Pai. But I think he might have the potential to like really cause an upset in the top lane because of how I guess wacky he plays. You know, like he's all over the place.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sniffing a bit of a mid jungle gap this game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Tubby and Nightmare are probably going to run this series.
I think so too. I think Nightmare has had, for like one of the Phil players, you know, I think they've had such a great tournament so far, and they have such a diverse champion pool. It looks like too, you know. So I think Nightmare will be able to like adapt to any situation and just take the game into their hands. Oh,
I wasn't
bad.
expecting a Nidalee to come out ever, actually. So when he pulled it out, I was very surprised.
I knew that they had that. You know, it's a mechanical champion. I mean, that team is all about how good their hands are. To be honest.
Yeah. Well, moving on to our last week 3 game. Right? Week 3. Gosh, it's been a long week. Feeders Anonymous versus Dognitas. Pretty obvious winner. Dognitas, Zach's in the bot lane. That's all you need to win a game.
Listen, this is just going to be easy 2-0. You don't even need to watch it.
All right.
But
I agree.
I have to watch it.
You won't have to take notes though. Just
Oh
yeah, I'll just read up on the Spark
Jason's
notes.
gonna be gapping somebody, and that's gonna be the game.
All right. Wait, who's he gapping? Hang on. Let me look at the notes. My notes real quick.
Dart juice.
Oh, poor Dart Juice.
Dart Juice has been playing pretty well though. I think they're one of their better. They're shining lights, you know, especially for a tier 5 player. I think he's been playing pretty exceptional for a tier 5 player. It's just I feel like he doesn't have much to work with right now, with how they're playing.
This Jason, it's the funniest thing. This guy won't come to practice. He plays like one game of a scrim and then leaves. Doesn't do VOD review, and then he shows up on Friday night and literally piss gaps somebody in the jungle and then goes home, dude. It's so crazy.
All right. Well, that is going to wrap it up this week. Zach, any last hot takes you got?
Yeah, give us something.
Can't wait to see Soap's terrible Zinzao support.
Hey, week
support.
Week 4 is gonna be a great week.
It is gonna be a great week.
It's gonna be a great week. So, but that will wrap up this episode of The Climb. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Zach and Ray, for coming on this week. A little bit of announcement. There will be no Solo or Bolo this week. I apologize for all Solo Bolo fans. Our boy Venom ZMX was out of town this week, so he's not seen the games and will not be able to make slides. So, but that's okay. You got the little wheel show that'll be your Solo Bolo for this week. So thank you all for watching, and we will catch you next week.